Good morning. It is a privilege to introduce our commencement speaker, Mark Perry, someone whose generosity, leadership, and unwavering belief in UW-Whitewater have shaped the institution that you are graduating from today. Today is a full circle moment. In 1933, a distinguished Warhawk named Harold M. Perry graduated. Harold had a work ethic that just didn't quit. He showed determination through adversity and exhibited a quiet confidence that powers growth, a description that fits many of the graduates sitting in front of me today. In 1958, Harold returned here to his alma mater to deliver the commencement address. He spoke about the power of education, the importance of character, and the responsibility each graduate carries out into the world. And now, 67 years later, we welcome his son, Mark, to the stage to continue that legacy. Over the last several years, I've had the honor of working alongside Mark and his wife, Marie Jane. I've come to understand not only the depth of their generosity, but the values that Mark carries forward from his parents. Values that remain at the heart of what it means to be a Warhawk, the importance of education, working hard and then doing a little extra, citizenship and involvement, prioritizing family, doing what's right, and maintaining a positive attitude. These are Perry family values, and they're also Warhawk family values. Mark has embodied them in transformative ways. His philanthropy, including the Harold M. Perry, 1933, and Margaret A. Perry Endowed Faculty Chair, represents one of the most significant and visionary investments in our entire institution's history. Humble, thoughtful, and deeply committed to making the world better, Mark believes in you, our graduates, just as his father once did. Graduates, families, friends, please join me in welcoming your commencement speaker, Mark Perry.
Good morning, everybody. It's an honor and a pleasure for me to be here. Katie, thank you so much for that generous introduction. You've been just wonderful to work with. Whitewater's fortunate to have you here. I'd also like to acknowledge Chancellor today. Chancellor King's leadership of Whitewater has been special. His passion and his commitment are impressive and inspiring. He brings an innovative strategy and a compassionate empathy. These are two leadership traits that I admire and I have seen be successful many, many times. Corey, it's been a privilege and a pleasure to get to know you. To the graduates, my heartfelt congratulations to each of you. You've worked hard, you've overcome challenges, and I appreciate some of Sam's comments about that. And graduation is a true milestone, one that will prepare you for the rest of your life. Tradition says that it's a Whitewater alum who delivers this graduation address. I'm not a Whitewater graduate, as Katie outlined, but my connection with this university actually runs quite deep and personal. In 1927, nearly a century ago, my father, Harold Perry, came to this institution. His years here shaped his life and in many ways mine. Here's what I want to do with my comments. First, I want to give you a sense of how impactful the Whitewater education was for my father, a man whose journey may be familiar to many of you. Second, I want to share with you the guidance I've given to many young people that I've mentored over my career, again, building on Sam's comments. 4 simple guidelines that have been validated by feedback that I've received. First, about my dad. He often spoke about how influential his time here was, how his Whitewater education gave him opportunity, purpose, and community. I was privileged to visit this campus this summer, and I immediately understood why he loved it. This is a special place, rich with history and tradition, and people who sincerely care about all of you students. My father's Whitewater experience became a large part of his legacy. After graduation, he received several honors from here. In 1958, he was named a distinguished alum, and as Katie mentioned, he returned to this campus to deliver a commencement address entitled Statesmanship in Education and Business. I'm deeply honored to stand here today retracing his steps. In 1973, my dad was inducted into the Whitewater Athletic Hall of Fame after earning 4 varsity letters each in football and basketball when he was here. At Whitewater, he was 6'3", about 220 pounds. AI, perplexity is my favorite, tells me that that was about the size of an average Green Bay Packers lineman back then. And my dad did play some semi-pro football after he graduated to earn a little extra money. This was back in the leather helmet days, and as a tackle, he played both sides, offense and defense. When he retired in 1974, his employer wanted to give him a $10,000 retirement gift. He said, "Let's donate that to Whitewater and create a scholarship for students like him." Later, I added to that fund and included my mother's name, as Katie said. And when my father passed, gifts in his honor from colleagues and friends continued to grow that fund. If any of you sitting here today ever had a grant from his scholarship, that would make me really happy. My father's story resonates with many of us. He was a first-generation college graduate, as I believe about 40% of many of you are. He had to step away from school several times to earn money to attend college, often working in the hot sun paving road crews near Freeport, Illinois, where he grew up. He was never afraid of hard work. He graduated from high school in 1927, but he didn't graduate from Whitewater until 1933. Whitewater always welcomed him back, supporting his determination to complete his education. His time at Whitewater was a difficult time for our country. On October 29th, 1929, literally my dad's 20th birthday, the most catastrophic single trading session in the stock market occurred. It signaled the start of what would be called the Great Depression. By the time he graduated in 1933, that stock market was down 80% from its highs, and 25% of Americans were unemployed. He and my mother were married then, but he had no money. He told me candidly, he said, "I didn't have a pot to piss in." He believed that education was the doorway to a better life. He liked teaching and coaching, and he followed that path while continuing his education. While working, he earned a master's degree in business from Iowa and then a doctorate in business from NYU. Then came World War II. My dad's curiosity and ambition led him to become an FBI special agent. He taught me the importance of staying connected to people you work with. One of my favorite stories. In 1961, my dad was elected president of the National Ex-FBI Association, and he was hosting an event in New York City. Former President Harry Truman happened to be in the same hotel for a different event. My father, never shy about seizing an opportunity, tracked down a Secret Service agent who he had once worked with in the FBI, and soon President Truman was on stage with an impromptu greeting for the former agents. Now that's Whitewater initiative, courage, connection, and willingness to try. One more story. Have you ever studied the Watergate scandal of President Nixon in the 1970s? If you haven't, watch the movie All the President's Men. I recommend it, and it's supposed to be accurate. It's about how two Washington journalists uncovered the truth of President Nixon's corruption. There's a mysterious man whom the journalists meet in a parking lot, standing in the dark, hiding his identity. His famous guidance was, "Follow the money." Since no one knew who he was called Deep Throat. This person was not identified until near his death, and only when his daughter convinced him that it was the right thing to do to become public with his role. His name was Mark Felt, and he was my dad's best friend in the FBI. My dad talked about him often as a moral and talented man, but since my dad predeceased him, he never knew that his best friend was the famous Watergate Guide to the Truth. After the war, my father transitioned into business, proof that education can open doors that you never expected into business from education. So his career spanned academia, federal service, executive leadership, and community leadership. He was president of our town's YMCA. All built on the same foundation: respect, responsibility, and lifelong learning. My father was not a helicopter parent. He gave me freedom, but also clear expectations. Because of his long career in teaching, when I started middle school, he pointed a finger at me and said, "I never want to hear that you're a problem for any of your teachers." I don't think I ever was. He taught me that life was about choices, that decisions are rarely easy. The word decide means to cut away, to eliminate options. Think homicide. Decide means to kill choices, and that's why making a decision can be so stressful. His decision-making rule was simple: always have the courage to do the right thing. Not just morally, which is important, but what he really meant was doing what's right for you. The actor John Wayne said that everyone needs a code, and this was my dad's code: work hard and do the right thing for yourself. In my many visits to India when I was working in the tech sector, I learned of a famous supporter of that code. One of my Indian partners told me that the Buddha's teaching was, strive diligently and be a lantern unto yourself. More poetic, but the same code that has guided my choices. I began my career after business by earning my MBA, and I became partner in a major accounting firm. I was then offered a dream job as a CFO of a fast-growing Silicon Valley startup. By then, I'd been divorced and I had joint custody of my children. I turned the job down because I would have had to move from San Francisco to San Jose, and it would have taken me away from a daily role with my kids. Some of my friends thought I was crazy. How could you not take that job? But I knew that being a father was an important value to me. I had learned that luck is preparation meeting opportunity. So my job was to stay prepared and be ready for the next chance to show up. 2 years later, I received 2 job offers, both near home. I chose the one that offered learning and growth, not prestige. And that's opened doors for me that I never had expected. I went on to lead a Silicon Valley tech company through its IPO, initial public offering. Then I moved into operations, became a COO, Chief Operating Officer, head of global sales, and then a CEO, and finally a partner in a venture capital firm. 3 business careers: finance, operations, and venture capital over 45 years. I've been retired now for a decade, and my focus is on governance for not-for-profit organizations. Check out Upstream USA on the web. This innovative nonprofit brings contraception counseling and choice to millions of women across 37 states. I've been on the board since its founding. I've been on about 50 boards over my career, and I've managed and mentored many people. I've seen what makes people successful and what doesn't. Let me outline 4 lessons that I've learned along the way and guided many with. Number 1, find out what you do easily and well and then work hard to master it. Rather than following your dreams, follow your skills and your natural interests. Career growth comes from recognizing them and then enhancing them. 2, choose the right culture. Surround yourself with people and organizations that reflect your values. A great job in a bad culture will drain you. A good culture will lift you. You will need to have good mentors. Look for them and stay connected. I had a wonderful mentor who guided me through all 3 of my careers. 3, go where there's growth. If your organization is thriving, you will grow too, often in ways that you never planned. And finally, be open to new chapters. You can have a long and diverse career. It's never too late to change directions. I entered venture capital when I was 53. My daughter, Elise, went to law school at 53 and now defends children in need. My son resigned a 10-year professorship at the age of 50 to pursue technology innovation in the entertainment world. Reinvention is always possible. But by far the most important of these 4 is to figure out what you're good at and then get better at it. Mark Twain once said, "The 2 most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you found out why." Perfecting what you do easily and well will lead you to the why. Before you leave this wonderful campus, if you want a little extra encouragement, walk down the main walkway in the athletic building and find my dad's Hall of Fame plaque. The school has very generously put a light on it so you can tell where it is. Touch it if you want a little bit of inspiration and support for your dreams. Remember, my dad stood exactly where you are today, using education to guide your career and facing an uncertain world. Be guided by your Whitewater education, your core values, and hard work. Congratulations to the class of 25, and it's an honor for me to be here. Thank you.